Well, good evening from Philadelphia, no, Pennsylvania. Not quite in Philadelphia, we're in Pennsylvania, USA, all the way from the USA. This is your host, Shaun Smith, and welcome to the Leadership Boost, where we're dealing basically just about every day on a principle, a point, something to help you move forward in your leadership. Whatever your role is, whatever you're doing, whatever your function is, to continuously be improving, continuously be changing, shifting, experiencing the transformation you need inside to experience the transformation that you want to see outside, that you need to have outside. It takes exceptional leaders. I don't want to use the word great because we always sort of tie in great with stupendous kind of celebrity kind of leaders, people with great names, etc. But I like to talk about exceptional leaders because exceptional leaders have an impact regardless of where they are, regardless of how many people they're impacting, but they're impacting somebody. Listen, if you're influencing, inspiring, and impacting somebody's life, you are a leader. And so you need to continuously be progressing so that that impact grows as well. So it takes your growth so that you can grow others. Tonight we're speaking specifically about nobody understands me. This week we've been talking about limiting beliefs, because one of the greatest drawbacks to us progressing and seeing results, seeing the best impact, our best potential, is in fact our limiting beliefs. Now, beliefs are formed in two ways. You must know that all limiting beliefs come from your family, your friends, your fears, and the world. And they're going to manifest once you start taking action. All those limiting beliefs you got from all the world around you as you've grown up is going to suddenly all be there as soon as you want to progress. And once you get that desire, once you discover that desire, once you get that sense of purpose that I am a leader and I'm going to impact people's lives, it suddenly all begins to work against you to stop you. But you have to move through them. This is the part of the journey where you begin to grow as a leader into who you were meant to be by challenging all these limiting beliefs and fears. You've got to challenge them. So beliefs are generally formed in two ways: by our experiences, inferences, and deductions, or by accepting what others tell us or show us to be true. And it's not really the truth, it's their truth, but they project that onto us as a truth. Most of our core beliefs are formed when we are children, and including limiting beliefs. When we're born, we enter the world with a clean slate and without preconceived ideas and without preconceived beliefs. But in your most impressionable years, those young years, as you're growing up, when you're a child, that's when these fears, these beliefs, these limiting beliefs, these deductions, these experiences begin to have an impact on you to form your limiting beliefs. So your perceptions are formed by what you see and experience, by how others influence you, but mostly by what they model for you. You choose to believe what you need to or you want to believe from the experiences, the inferences, and what others tell you. This begins to form your perceptions. And your perceptions then govern your beliefs, your attitude, your behavior. And listen, it is your beliefs, your attitude, and your behavior that determine your leadership style. You're going to have to listen to this episode again, because when you understand this, it's incredible. It's going to help you so much. It's simple, but it's very complex in its journey, in its discovery. When I was 5 or 6 years old, and I had an incident happen to me away from my home by a stranger that affected and created a perception in me, that created a limiting fear in me, a belief that I wasn't accepted, that no one understands me, nobody accepts me, that nobody understands me. It made me shy, introverted, held me back. I couldn't talk to people, specifically people that were adults, as I viewed as adults, maturer, or in a higher kind of more superior position than me. See, leaders, I couldn't talk to leaders. I would stumble and stammer and bumble along. I couldn't make myself communicate my thoughts, communicate my ideas with clarity. I just would stumble and stammer, and when I walked away, I would know exactly what I was wanting to communicate, but when I got into the conversation, I couldn't relate to people. That held me back for 28 years, until I began to deal with it and begin to shift that whole paradigm, because that perception that they were going to harm me, or that I couldn't trust them, or that they wouldn't understand me, caused me to be very lonely, caused me to be very isolated within myself, not externally, but within myself, very protected. I didn't realize it. I didn't even realize it. And what it did was, people around me would reject me because I couldn't communicate clearly, couldn't have a conversation. And so they would reject me. It was a limiting belief. And it affected my leadership. It affected how I lead. Orrin Woodward said, since a leader cannot rise above his or her thinking, they must assault their limiting beliefs daily through reading, listening, and associating. And that's what I did. I made a point of changing it, changing how I see myself, changing that situation. That one instance, that one experience had held me and limited me for 28 years of my life. But I decided I'm going to change it. And when I found it, that was the big thing. I knew it was there, but I didn't realize how it was affecting me. I buried it. And so when I began to tackle it, I tackled it with believing in myself, growing myself, developing myself, growing in my understanding of who I am and what my identity is, understanding my potential, my mission, my purpose in life, getting me grounded as a leader, that regardless of what happens around me, I know who I am and where I'm going. It's kept me going through thick and thin, through light and dark, through ups and downs. It keeps me going because I know I have a purpose. I know I'm grounded as a leader. It doesn't mean I'm always emotionally feeling happy. That's a fallacy. It's like I'm going to be ha 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 all the time. But inside I have a confidence. I have a confidence of who I am. So how do you experience dramatic change? You go to the root. You go to the root cause of what that limiting belief is. Why is it there? Then you change. You begin to change how you see the world. Not as a threat. If you think no one understands you, it's not them that has to change. You have to change. You have to let down the guard. You have to see that you are accepted. You have to see that your behavior is not necessarily who you are right now. And you can change. You've got to believe that you can. You've got to believe that you can grow and that you can develop and you can become the person that you need to be. You've got to affirm that in your life because nobody else is going to. You've got to affirm it in your life. And even if others do, you've got to believe it. So you've got to hear it over and over again. You've got to put that reading, listening, and associating. And associating is good. It's good to get with a coach. It's good to get with mentors. It's good to get with role models who are going to model the right thing for you, who's going to influence you and re-script your life. Rescript your thinking, not your life as much as your thinking, your perceptions. Change how you see the world. Change how you think. Change your mindset. Change your frame of reference. Change how you think about yourself. And change how you think about others. Constantly say, if you're constantly saying to yourself, nobody understands me, it is a limiting belief. Two things are necessary: courage and consideration. You hear me saying that quite often, and that's why I say it, because courage is believing in who you are. Courage is accepting who you are. Courage is believing your self-worth. Courage is valuing who you are, your potentials, your gifting, your mission, your purpose, your core values in life. It's the courage to believe in them and stand for them. And the courage to change what needs to be changed. But then it's consideration. It's putting yourself in other people's shoes. They may not know how to deal with you. That was my problem. People didn't understand really what I was going through. Sometimes they don't take time, but that's not their fault. I'm going to put them in their shoes. They're busy in life. They look at somebody that they don't know what's wrong with me. They don't know why it's like that. And so, they tend to withdraw from me. But the simple fact of the matter is that as a leader, you will be courageous and considerate. Courageous about who you are and considerate about who they are. And now when you begin to balance those two, you reconcile those two areas, suddenly it is not a limiting belief anymore. If somebody doesn't understand me, it's their perspective. It's not who I am. That's the difference. That's the difference. All right? So, thanks for being with me again. Welcome to Friday. It's over. It's now weekend. Have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on Relationship Saturday, or I'll catch you on Monday with the next episode of the Leadership Boost. Until next time, this is Shaun saying over and out.